going on out there, Elite Mafia? Welcome back to a new edition for the season. I know I'm excited. I know this man across from me is excited. He's got his LA hat on. I got my New York hat on. East Coast, West Coast kind of thing. Benny in the gut action. Back talking a little baseball. Vlad, what the fuck is up, my dude? How you been?
Man, I'm great. This is, the boys are back. Yeah, you and I did shows for years there, and it's good to have some MLB action and ready to roll.
Dude, that's what I'm the happiest about, is that we finally got some baseball back. We finally got some sports back. We got through this whole craziness of, I'm not going to say we're through this whole craziness of COVID. Obviously, the coronavirus is still around, and it's going to be weird seeing games being played with no fans in the stands and, not going to any Yankee games for like the first time in about the last, 30 years of my life right now, unless something happens later on. But at the same point in time, we're all stuck home. We got basketball on starting next week. We got baseball on all day starting next week. I mean, as far as being a sports fan goes, being stuck in your house and having games on all day long for every one of the major sports. I mean, at some point in September, we're going to have baseball, basketball, football, and hockey games on during the day, during the afternoon, during dinner time, during the evening. And then the late night games on the West Coast that I'm staying up to 1 o'clock in the morning and watching that are, 9 or 10 o'clock for you. I mean, you can't really ask for a better time than we're going to get right now, right?
No, it's going to be a smooth couple months. And you know what? I think I'm okay with the cardboard cutouts in the back of baseball games in the stands. At first, I thought it was a little weird. And I kind of saw it. I was like, it's almost just as weird to have nobody in the stands. So I'm good with the cardboard cutouts. It just may not be me and you necessarily.
Yeah, I don't mind the cardboard cutouts, but I got to be honest, I don't like when they pipe in the fake crowd noise. Like, I want to hear the crack of the bat, and I want to hear, guys cursing at each other and talking crap on the field and on the court. Like, that's what I want to hear. I want the microphones right down there to get like, basically like you're sitting right in the first row of the games. But the reason why you and I are even doing this show right now, we're going to do a little bit of a super draft opening day kind of preview, Benny in the gut style like we used to do. We'll go over the pitchers first. We'll go over some of the bats and the stacks that we're going to be looking at right there. And, then we'll get out of here and let everybody else fill out their lineups. So here's the deal, guys. Super Draft right now. They're offering a deposit bonus. If you're an Elite Mafia member, if you signed up with the promo code ELITE at some point already, in your email, you probably have an email from Super Draft. It is only good until the first game starts on Friday. So I think it's 7 o'clock is the first game's on Friday. By the time the 7 o'clock games start on Friday, this offer is going to be gone. But right now, they're giving you a 50% deposit bonus up to $600 for anybody who was an Elite Mafia member. That email is already somewhere in your email. So if you don't see it, look for an email from SuperDraft. Maybe it's in your spam folder. Maybe it's in your junk folder. If not, then it's in your regular whatever folder you signed up with on your email address there. 50% deposit match. It's only an 8% playthrough. So like on DraftKings, you got to play $25 to get $1 in that drip. On Super Draft, you only got to play $12.50 to get $1 of that drip back. So it's twice as fast. It comes back to you as it does over on DraftKings. DraftKings is offering a 20% bonus up to like 500, I think. This is a 50% bonus up to 600. Honestly, it's the best deal in the market right now. And as you guys know, I say all the time, taking advantage of these bonus offers, best way for you guys to make some money and come out. And because it's opening day, Vlad, we also got a little something extra for the people out there. Ricky, who is the main guy who handles all the marketing and affiliate over at SuperDraft, gave me 10 tickets to give out to subscribers. So here's what I'm going to do for you guys out there. Once we post this video up, go over to our YouTube channel, click the subscribe button so that you guys are updated every time we do one of these videos. And then down in the comment section, leave a comment. And at the end of the comment, leave your SuperDraft screen name. And if we have 10 guys, I'll give all 10 of you a ticket. If we have more than 10, I'll put it into one of those randomizers, and it'll come up with which 10 of you are going to win this time. And we'll make sure that those free tickets are in there by Friday for you so you guys can play Friday. But we're going to talk about the Thursday slate here today right now. Only 2 games. Vlad's favorite team in the Dodgers taking on the San Francisco Giants. My favorite team in the Yankees taking on the Washington Nationals. Those are the 2 games we got. We always start with pitching up at top. Vlad, what do you got?
Yeah, so this one is pretty straightforward because you've got basically 3 choices. Johnny Cueto on the Giants against the powerhouse Dodgers offense, even at the multiplier that they have there, is probably just not going to be worth it. If even in a scenario where you're entering the big $12 tournament and doing a whole bunch of lineups, yeah, sure, lightning can strike at any given time, but you're just really sort of got a real big uphill battle there going with Johnny Cueto, but his multiplier is 2x. You've got Kershaw at 1.45, Max Scherzer at 1.1, and then you've got Garrett Cole, who's at 1x. As everybody knows, Garrett Cole, the top strikeout rate in baseball, over 38% over the last 2 seasons. Max Scherzer falls in third. Cole's a little younger, a little healthier, at least as far as the last year is concerned. And both guys are pretty ramped up. They both went about 80 pitches in their last outing. Probably would expect Cole to go just a little bit deeper, just a little further. But on the Washington side of the hitting, it's a little bit of a different looking team. No Anthony Rendon there, obviously no Harper for a couple years. And, Juan Soto is coming back from coronavirus. So the team is not at 100% strength. I would say Garrett Cole, even at the 1x multiplier, is ending up going to be my top choice over Max Scherzer. Scherzer with the tougher matchup against the Yankees. And then Kershaw, my number 2. So if I was playing a single entry, a cash game lineup, I would probably roll with Cole and Kershaw as my 2 pitchers.
Yeah, I'm going to 100% agree. I'm just going to kind of add on to what you said here. When you look at the pitchers over on SuperDraft, it's basically a 2-step process, which is a little different than what you play on FanDuel or DraftKings right now. So I have my projections, and the way my projections come out is Cole as the number 1 guy in raw points, Scherzer as number 2, Kershaw as number 3, and then Cueto way, way, way down the list as number 4. So I agree with you. For me, Cueto, even at the highest multiplier there with 2x, whatever his score is not going to be somebody who's in play for me. So what it really comes down to right now is I have Cole, like I said, as the number 1 overall raw points guy. But like you mentioned, Cole, you're only getting a multiplier of 1 on. Now, even with the 1.1 multiplier on Scherzer, I still have Cole ahead of him. So I still like Cole better than Scherzer. But my actual top projected pitcher on the slate is Clayton Kershaw. It's by a very small margin over Garrett Cole. But the real big thing is the multiplier, which is what we're going to talk about and something that you really got to get used to playing if you're playing on SuperDraft. At a 1.45 multiplier, I think I had Kershaw like a little over 20 points or so. So that boosts him all the way up to like a little over 30 points, which is around what I had Cole as. I have Cole as like 28 or 29 points on this slate, and Kershaw, Scherzer being the other guy at like 23 or 24 behind him. So when I'm putting my teams together, again, there's no salary cap over here. It's just a multiplier. So you're able to fit these guys in and not worry about it. So for me, I have the same 2 that you do. I have Kershaw and Cole as my number 1 and number 2. Like I said, raw point scorer, I actually have Cole pitching the best of all these guys. But when you factor in the multiplier, I actually have Kershaw slightly ahead of him. So those are the 2 guys that I'm going to be looking at on the pitching side. Now, I assume, based on the pitching side and everything else that's going on over here, that means you're probably going to be pretty heavy on the Dodgers, right?
Yeah, I mean, even with some of the lower multipliers on these guys, it really is the best spot, especially if you're playing the 50-50s and the cash games. Dodgers just the way to go. I think Cody Bellinger is pretty much the guy that you're building around. Him and Mookie Betts, who was just signing the big monster contract. Bellinger is at a 1.2 multiplier. Mookie Betts at 1.15. And then with Cueto, a righty on the mound, it'd be good to get some lefties in. Max Muncy is also at 1.15, so definitely not opposed to him there. And then at that point, it might be good to sort of differentiate a little bit. Justin Turner, 1.25 multiplier. He'll be hitting in the middle of that lineup. Probably somebody I prefer a little bit more with a lefty on the mound. He's been crushing lefties over the last few years, but I think Turner's a pretty solid add. AJ Pollock, man, I wish he was a little bit better of a price point on DraftKings. He's cheaper. You'll see a lot of people play him there. AJ Pollock is in the mix at 1.3. And then you know who's sneaky? Kike Hernandez. If you're playing the big $12 tournament, it's going to be him or Chris Taylor probably starting at second base since Gavin Lux was sent down. He'll probably hit near the bottom of the lineup, but he kind of gives you that bottom of the order stack, especially if you have Betts leading off. Keep an eye out on who that guy might be in the ninth spot, and you'll probably get him at a little bit of a better multiplier. Kike 1.4x, Chris Taylor 1.5.
Yeah, I mean, even, you look at a guy like a Will Smith who will be down at the bottom of that order as well, probably starting catcher for them too. Somebody else that I think has some value there. He's a 1.65 multiplier. Now, again, it's not a guy who we consider to be a great hitter, but catcher is a very weak position, and you got to put one of them in there at some point. The only other guy that people are really probably going to play highly at catcher is going to be Gary Sanchez. It really comes down. I agree with you 100%. I like Kershaw. I like the Dodgers. I'm not on San Francisco with Cueto pitching, and I'm not really on that San Francisco lineup very heavy either. I mean, as of now, it looks like there's going to be no Longoria. Looks like there's going to be no Hunter Pence. Brandon Belt is going to be out for at least a week from what I'm reading as well. So, they're going to be without three guys that arguably are three of their better hitters, three guys you would expect to be in the middle of the order. When you start breaking it down and looking at some of the names that are left on that San Francisco side, I mean, do you want to play Alex Dickerson? He's probably the best bat left there, but he's a lefty against Kershaw. That's, there's just nothing there that makes me think that anybody on the San Francisco team is going to be great. Does that mean that somebody can hit a home run and wind up on the optimal lineup? No, absolutely. I mean, anybody on a 14 slate with 2 games, anybody that hits a home run is probably going to wind up on the optimal lineup. So if one of those guys happens to, take Kershaw a yard, then yeah, it's going to be good. But, you got guys like Brandon Crawford, who's a lefty. You're not going to expect him to go lefty on lefty against Kershaw. So maybe you find the righty in there somewhere. But even with the multiples, I don't have any of these San Francisco guys on my list. So really what it comes down to me is, do you like Garrett Cole or do you like Max Scherzer? And if you like Cole, then what Yankees bats are you playing against Scherzer? And if you like Scherzer, then which ones of the Washington bats are you going to play against Cole? And for me, I mean, obviously, I think the chalk lineup construction here is going to be heavy Dodgers along with some Yankees kind of mixed in there.
Yep.
And that's probably the way that most people are going to go. Now, I agree that if we're playing in a cash game right now, that's how I'm building my team too. Aaron Judge, Stanton. The problem I have, though, is Max Scherzer is not a guy who you're going to stack against because he doesn't give up a lot of base runners. What Max Scherzer's weakness is, if he has one, is that he does give up some home runs. He is more of a fly ball pitcher. Guys can put the ball in the air, and there's a lot of guys with power. But the guys that you usually like with power against Scherzer are the lefties. And this is a very righty-heavy Yankee lineup. I mean, the top 5 in the Yankees order is probably going to be some combination of Aaron Hicks, Gleyber Torres, Gary Sanchez, Stanton, and Judge. Those are all right-handed batters for the most part. So I'm not really sure that I want to be super heavy on the Yankees. But again, on a 2-game slate like this, I think you basically choose which of those 2 pitchers you like better between Cole and Scherzer. And then you just kind of pick the bats on the other team to go against them, mixed in with a whole bunch of the Dodgers bats. Because, again, it's not that I hate Johnny Cueto, but Johnny Cueto just stands out as the guy who's going to struggle the most of the 4 pitchers on the slate. So not being heavy on the Dodgers, even though it's contrarian, it might give you a leg up in ownership. I just don't see it being the path to victory here.
Yeah, kind of on the same page with you there. The only way that if you want to get a little bit contrarian in the tournaments, the one way that you could look at it, and again, nothing is out of sorts or too crazy for a 2-game slate. I mean, we're going to have more fun on Wednesday when you have more of a full slate. But I think you might see some people lean towards some of the higher multipliers on the Washington side. And, looking at a big prospect for the Nationals, Carter Kieboom, probably going to hit 6th or 7th in that lineup. He's a third baseman, shortstop, but he's 2X. So you'll probably see some one-offs of him. And then you got to consider the lefties. If you really think about it, Garrett Cole, even last year, if there's one slight little weakness that he has, it's is giving up a little bit of power to left-handed bats.
Yep.
A 1.4 home runs per 9 last year against lefties. That puts, I guess, Juan Soto in play, and then Eric Thames as well, who's 1.45. So outside of that, I'd really keep it simple. Final thoughts is basically you want to have heavy Dodgers for the most part, mix in some Yankees, and then if you want to go against the grain, play Scherzer, and then throw in some of the Washington lefties with Carter Kieboom.
Yeah, Eric Thames is a guy I was looking at too. You mentioned Soto, although Soto's got a low multiplier of only 1.05. But again, if any of these guys go yard, even at a low multiplier, they're going to be perfectly fine. Or, like some of these Dodgers guys at low multipliers, if they get 2 or 3 hits and score a run or 2 and knock in a run or 2, they're going to be fine. They're still going to give you what everybody needs basically at this point. So, Thames I like, and Soto I like, and even Adam Eaton I like. And I agree 100%. I think that is the way to go. So you're going to have to try to get a little creative. So maybe you go with, you throw a Carter Kieboom in there. Like I said, you throw a Will Smith in there instead of a Gary Sanchez, who most people will probably pick. I think those are the ways that you're going to have to go about it if you're trying to build a winning lineup here today. So remember, if you want to play over on SuperDraft, you can get over there now. Use promo code ELITE when you sign up over there. if you already have an account and you're one of our elite subscribers and you're already signed up over there, check your email, because somewhere in your email you have a bonus offer for 50% on a deposit up to $600 as a welcome back gift. So take advantage of that right now. If you can't find it in your email, make sure you email over to me or email over to support at SuperDraft and tell them, hey, Benny from Elite told me that you guys were offering this bonus, and they'll make sure they take care of you. And if you don't, let me know about it, and I'll make sure that they take care of you, because they told me that they would take care of any of our people. So definitely make sure you get over there and do that. Remember, I got 10 free tickets to this tournament as well on Friday. If you guys want, what you got to do, subscribe to the YouTube channel here, go down to the comment section, leave a comment, and at the end of the comment, make sure you leave your screen name, because if you don't leave me your SuperDraft screen name, I can't give it to them to put a free ticket in your account. So for RotoGut, this is Benny signing off for a quick breakdown, comeback baseball style of Benny in the Gut at EliteSportsBetting.com.